Coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio. We are here for the USA Powerlifting Arnold Sports Festival Open and Masters Bench Bash. My name is Nick Stevens, and I'm joined by my phenomenal co-host,
Kevin Serrano.
And we are here for the very first session for USA Powerlifting here in Columbus, Ohio at the Arnold Sports Festival. This will be a bench-only session, so you're going to hear Kevin and I yap a whole ton about the bench press, the rules, regulations, tips, tricks, trainings, all sorts of things. But first off, we want to give a quick shout out to our presenting sponsor, A7. A7 is a leading performance edition-ready apparel designed specifically for powerlifters, helping athletes perform their best on the platform. And so we're always grateful for A7 and their presence here at the Arnold Sports Festival. It looks like the bar is loaded. We are taking the action over on the platform 1 with Miss Stacy Metcalf. Now, Kevin, you're a national level referee, category 2 level national referee. International, excuse me, my fault, OG. Tell us a little bit about what we're looking for on the bench press.
Yeah, so we see both of our lifters, Stacy and Darrell, on platforms 1 and 2. They are walking out onto the platform, unracking that bar, and what you'll see on the left-hand sides of the of your screen, you see a referee on the right-hand side, and that referee is giving all of our lifters a command. They are given a start, press, and a rack command, which determines the pace in which they execute the lift. I mean, there's just a whole subset of rules that go into the bench press event. And again, right now we are showcasing the Open and Masters bench. So these are some of the best bench pressers in the Masters and Open division that USA Powerlifting has to offer.
Absolutely. And just to navigate our folks to the schedule of today's session. So we have 2 different platforms going on simultaneously. That's why you'll see a split screen action there. And all of our lifters, since they're going to just be doing the bench press, they're going to come up and do their 3 bench attempts, and then that's the end of their session. So we're going to go flight by flight. As things come up, Kevin and I are going to go into different rules and things that we're going to see our lifters do. So starting off, Lee Haynes on platform 1, they're going to take 57.5 kilos. That's 126 pounds. And then Wayne Caberna on platform 2. He's going to be taking 117.5 kilos.
And Nick, you bring up a really good point in how these lifters just have 3 bench presses and now they're done for the day. So here it really is about treating it like a third attempt deadlift or moving into deadlifts if you're doing a full power meet, right? These are your last 3 attempts, so to speak. And in this case, for a bench press only meet, like a deadlift, our athletes are able to change their third bench press attempt up to 2 times, treating it like a third deadlift attempt if they were to be doing full power. So it really is kind of all or nothing here with making their opener and really just got 2 more attempts after that.
Absolutely, and you talk about a bench session, a bench-only session in contrast to a full power session. You know, you have to save energy for the squat, then you got to save energy for the bench, but then you also got to save energy for deadlift after that. With bench, you can kind of put all your cards into this one lift rather than thinking of it like an SPD day with the boys. This is just a easy day 4 bench day. So all we're working for is a super heavy single from all of our lifters today. Kayla Cabelli on platform 1, 62.5 kilos.
And a smooth press there by Scott over on platform 2. He gets 3 white lights.
Kayla Cabelli rocking the custom Titan powerlifting singlet for USA Powerlifting.
We saw those singlets get showcased at the IDFPA World Championship in Seoul, South Korea this past December.
I was very, very jealous. I couldn't go to that.
Yeah. Had the chance to actually see a lot of the lifters that are competing here at the Arnold also compete at IDFPA Worlds.
And this is the upper echelon of competition, folks. Just because this is a bench-only competition and just because it's the first session of the day doesn't mean that this isn't a prestigious event. This is the Arnold Sports Festival. This is an invite-only competition. And so you have to lift to some sort of standard. You have to meet a qualifying total. And you got to be invited. So you got to show that you're able to bench more than the rest of the pack.
Yeah, and again, it's not like you can just walk in here, register, and it can be your first meet. These people are the best in the country, the best USA Powerlifting has to offer.
Joy Black unracking 72.5 kilos, 159 pounds. I'm loving the socks. Very smooth press out there. Oh, and let's take it over to platform 2. We've already got our first 300-plus pound bench. Mr. Charlie Page taking 175 kilos, 385 pounds for an opening attempt. Also rocking the custom Titan Support Systems USA Powerlifting singlet. Coming up to platform 1, Tish Horn, 80 kilos. Tish Horn, also a national level referee. Very like to see her throughout the rest of this weekend, but on the other side of the curtain. Tish Horn gets a solid lift off from the spotter there. She inches it towards the chest. Oh, and looks like got a little bit misgrooved on the press out. That's a good save there by the spotters and loaders. And Kevin, can you talk a little bit about why that might have happened? It looks like she's wearing a different kind of shirt there. How would that shirt affect that bench press?
Absolutely. So we have 2 different divisions lifting today. We have our both raw division and our equipped division. And the main difference is in the raw division, lifters are just wearing a singlet. So it's a non-supportive suit that is just a lifting piece. And so think of it as you're using only your body to lift the weight. And now with a bench shirt like we see here in Brian Scott with 182.5, very well executed bench press there. He has what is called a bench press shirt. So it is a additional piece of equipment, is a supportive suit that in essence creates extra resistance to bring it requires more resistance to bring the bar down at the chest, meaning the lifters actually have to pull the bar down to their chest. And think of it like a rubber band. Once that bar is on their chest, all your body wants to do is spring back up and lock out that bench press. However, it really is about working within the equipment and timing and just being able to work with the bar path.
Absolutely, and that's not. This is absolutely lifter dependent, right? So you see some folks like Delaney Sousley, beautiful opener there on platform 1. Delaney isn't wearing a shirt, but then Jeff Sussman is choosing to wear a shirt. It is completely up to the lifter and their preference. It does put them in a separate division, rather versus competing raw. You then compete equipped, so it does put you in a different division. However, it's all lifter preference.
Yeah.
And that's a 2-to-1 no lift there for Jeff Sussman on platform 2. It looked like there was a little bit of up and downward motion on the way up.
Yeah, 2 different calls there. So I saw on the screen on LiftingCast, he got a red light with a yellow card on the side, which indicated his butt actually came up, which you can see as his hips sort of rise. We don't get a clear angle of that, but that's what that side referee called him. And then a up and down movement call from the center referee.
Coming up to platform 1 now, Elizabeth Richardson, equipped bench presser. You see they're doing the classic equipped walk up to the platform. Because of the restriction of that shirt and because of how tight it is, it forces their arm into a more forward position. That way that whenever they get under the bench press and they use the force of gravity under the bar, it bends that shirt and gives them more elasticity underneath. Here's Tate Hernandez, 440 pounds.
Wow. And that
Man.
200 kilos just springs up off his chest, and he gets 3 white lights.
Same for Elizabeth Richardson. That's going to be 3 white lights as well. We are cruising right along for these openers.
And speaking of lifters like Elizabeth Richardson, one thing that we tend to see at especially the Arnold, where we have multiple sessions, multiple divisions competing, and especially with bench press only events, we have lifters that often compete more than once throughout this weekend. We've had lifters that compete both in the raw division and then go on to then throw on a bencher and compete the afternoon in the equipped division, as well as doing a bench only meet and then doing full power tomorrow or on Sunday.
That's right. And if a lifter wants to win some extra money, they're more than happy to compete in any more of these divisions that they want to, provided they're invited and they meet the necessary qualifying totals. Ooh, Carlo Melendez not able to get off the chest there with 200 kilos. And that's going to be a relift there. And a lot of times it's like you were just saying, Kevin, it comes with learning the balance of the suit, right? You have to bring it down fast enough to where you're able to maintain control, but you want to bring it down slow enough, but not so slow, to the point where you lose all elasticity and you lose all of that momentum. Rachel Hannon opening up 275 pounds. And Brian Albert on platform 2, he's taking 446 pounds, 202 and a half. Ooh, 2-1 for Rachel. That's going to be a good lift. 2-1 no lift for Derek or for Brian on platform 1.
And for those of you, and for those of you new to powerlifting operates on a majority rule system. So we see our referee lights, and a 2-1 no lift means that a lifter receives 2 red lights with 1 white light, whereas a good lift would be 2 white lights or 3 and 1 red light. So again, it's a majority rule system here with 3 referees positioned across the entire platform.
Coming up to platform 1, Natalie Richardson, national champion bench presser.
Not to be confused by Elizabeth Richardson.
Are they related?
Yeah.
I believe Elizabeth is her mom then.
Yeah.
Very fast. And that's a national level bench press there, folks. 3 white lights from Natalie Richardson. And she's going to take us back to the top of the order on platform 1. Stacy Metcalf's going to go up 2.5 kilos to 93 pounds. And a huge 450-pound bench from Derek Gottschalk.
And what a crazy jump here to our last bench press attempt opener for platform 2. Nick Benarakis, 265 kilos.
That's the coach of the big benches.
Yep.
See it on a singlet, bigbenches.com.
Moving on to our second attempt on platform 1, Stacy. 42.5 kilos. Rarely do you ever see 5 spotters for a bench press attempt.
Nick taking his time getting set up under the bar there. With the suit, you almost have to be a lot more precise in your positioning. Any small misgroove,
no room for error.
Especially with almost 580 pounds on the bar. Be very dangerous.
Wow.
It's almost a balancing act.
Yeah, yeah.
3 white lights for Nick Benrakis.
Wow, that's impressive.
573 pounds, down and up like it's nothing. Susan Paxson was able to lock out 60 kilos, did go up 2.5 kilos after missing her first. And that was a good move that played in her favor, 2-1. She's on the board now.
That is one of those risks some of these lifters take, despite missing their opening attempt, going up and kind of taking a gamble, trying to go up 2.5 kilos, secure a little bit more on the total, and just, again, gamble your cards. But here at the Arnold, I mean, with that level of competitiveness, that's kind of what you have to do in stages like these.
Absolutely. Daryl Dansby, 220 pounds on the bar for his second attempt, and it's not going to go. Good grab there by the spotters and loaders.
You wonder whether or not that jump was a little too big of a jump. For bench press, 17.5 kilos normally isn't the jump you would take. That's like a deadlift jump.
That is very close to a deadlift jump. That's even large for a deadlift jump, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty large, but.
Lee Haynes, a quit bencher, 3 white lights. On to the next, very routine. Here's Mark Davis on platform 2. He's going to go up 7.5 kilos. And for the folks at home that aren't readily able to do kilo math, that's about 15 pounds. That's a very stable jump for a lot of our lifters, and that's going to be a good lift from Mark Davis. Kayla Cabelli, one of our first lifters in this flight, a raw bench presser. And I will say she objectively just has a long way to go on that bench press, but she makes it look very routine. 3 white lights. I'd say that was a good lift for Wayne Caberna on 2.
And the
judges are going to think so as well.
Very good calling there, because one would think that maybe that bar stalled, went down, but referees were really keen on making sure that they made the appropriate call. That bar did not go down, and he's awarded 3 white lights.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking about. You know, when the referees are looking for any infractions, so if we're looking for up and downward motion, or if we're looking for the butt coming up, the feet coming up, but really anything to do with the bar, you want to look at the center of the bar, right? If the center of the bar just stops in the general range of motion of the bench press, but then continues to go, that's perfectly fine. It's only when the center of that bar dips right back down within that range of motion and then comes back up is when we'll be able to call that. There's Scott Aaron. Three white lights, 281 pounds. Bar is loaded up next for Tish Horn. Now, Tish did miss her opener at 80 kilos, so we're going to retake that. Here we go. Oh, very fast. And just goes to show you, like we were saying, that opening attempt must have just been a very, very strong misgroove, because she was able to blast that off her chest with no issue. Ooh, Robert Evans finds his way, and it's not going to go. Platform 1, Delaney Sousley.
Delaney's one of those lifters, very strong in all 3 lifts, very strong full power lifter. I think she might be competing in the full power session tomorrow.
I believe so, and she's also one of those lifters that's than most other power lifters in the whole federation. She's competed well over, let me get this math right, at least 15 times in the past 5 years.
Oh, she gets a no lift on that attempt. Unsure what the infraction might have been. It was a technical call, 3 red lights with a yellow card. Could have been a butt, could have been a command. Not quite sure what the referee saw there.
Charlie Page, 2.5 kilos. He takes it up to 391 pounds. 3 white lights.
We're now pushing past the 400-pound mark on platform 2. 190 kilos for Mr. Brian Scott, 419 pounds.
Strong press out for Brianna. 2-1, that's going to be a good lift. And she did get a yellow card as well, so like we were saying, that yellow card could be any sort of technical infraction, that being the butt coming up, the heels coming up, possibly a missed command. Brian Scott smooth but steady, pressing out that 418 pounds, 3 white lights. Our next 2 equipped benchers on the platform are Elizabeth Richardson, platform 1, Jeff Sussman, platform 2. That's going to be a little bit of a shaky press. It looks like it's locked out. I don't know if she can press out anymore there. And that's going to be 2-1, no lift there. And when you get, so let's talk a little bit about the cards. So whenever you hear Kevin and I talk about red, yellow, blue, or anything like that, that's associated with the red lights or the white lights. That can mean any number of infractions that the lifter has done within their lift. So if the lifter gets a red light with a red card underneath that, that means the bar did not get in full contact with the chest. And you might see that with equipped bench pressing. You know, like you said, the tensile strength of the shirt, you almost have to pull the bench down onto yourself, and when you're not able to make that full contact, that's when you'll see that red light. When you're looking at a blue light, that's when we were talking about there being any up and downward motion with the bar. And then if we're talking about yellow lights, that could be any number of extra infractions, so the heels, the butt, missing a command. It's not a rule or not an infraction anymore to lift your head, so our lifters are allowed to lift their head on the bench press.
So a very interesting situation here with Carlo Melendez. So he missed 200 kilos for a second time now, and so he's really in a tough spot, needing to hit it for a third attempt here as we come back around for third attempts in order to stay in the competition. And Mr. Brian Albert on platform 2, also retaking 202.5, who missed it on his opening attempt.
Rachel Hannon, strong second attempt there, 3 white lights. Here's Brian, platform 2. Let's take a look.
Gets that recommend from our chief referee.
I don't know that that's going to go. I wonder if he's going to get a call for the butt. It looked like his right side was coming up. Yeah. Okay, so red lights with both blue cards there. So probably some up and downward motion there. And that puts both Carlo and Brian in very tough positions. They do have to make their third attempt in order to post a bench for this portion of the session.
And just shy of a 400-pound bench being thrown around by Miss Natalie Richardson.
She benches more than me.
Yeah.
2 to 1. Not to say I bench all that crazy, but she benches more than 99% of the federation, which is outstanding.
And she's currently leading by a wide margin the women's equipped open bench press division.
Here's Derek Gottschalk. 475 pounds. That's a 2 to 1. That's going to be a good lift for Derek Gottschalk. And we're back up to the third attempts on platform 1. Stacy Metcalf, slow and steady, 2.5 kilo increases across the board. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 45 kilos, and that's going to be a good lift.
475 pounds of platform 2, Tate Hernandez. Bench 465 in training, prepping for this competition. 475 here on his second attempt bench press. Locks it out, gets that rack command. 3 white lights. And as we look to wrap up our women's equipped masters bench press on platform 1, we have our third attempts going on. We have Lee Haynes and Joy Black on the women's equipped masters division, who are currently spread by only 0.3 of a dot points, both sitting at 88.3 and 0.6. So we saw Lee Haynes hit her third bench press attempt, and so Joy Black will be attempting to move into first place with her third bench press coming up.
And like you were saying at the very beginning, this is a bench press only session, and so folks are allowed to change their third attempts if they so choose, if they want to get into that extra placing. Nick Benrakis. Folks, there's 5 reds plus on that bar. That's 295 kilos, close to 640 pounds.
The amount of manpower needed to just to spot this bench press attempt. I mean, look at this. Look at these spotters. Wow.
Nick Benrakis benching the equivalent of a buffalo. Benching the equivalent of a buffalo, 295 kilos, a 2-to-1, a good lift. It's no question Nick Van Rock is running away with this competition. Susan Paxson.
Yep.
Ooh, twins.
I believe she was going for a record there. We saw 64.5 loaded there. Fortunately, wasn't able to get it up, but still attempted a either American record or world record because we saw chips loaded on that bar.
And the folk, go ahead.
And what we mean by chips is it is a increment less than 2.5 kilos. Any other attempt would need to be an increment of 2.5 kilos, but unless it's an American record or a world record attempt, lifters are allowed to chip that record by a minimum of 0.5 kilos or 1 pound.
Kayla gets that start command. Very slow but smooth on the way up. She looks happy with it. 3 white lights. Good celebration coming off there.
And over on platform 1, we got Joy Black sitting in second place, currently sitting with a 88.3 dots points, looking to overtake Lee Haynes, who hit 62.5 kilos and is sitting at 92.6 dots points. With Joy Black's attempt, if successful, she will move into first place, claiming that gold medal in the Women's Equipped Masters.
Wayne Caberna taking his third attempt, 275 pounds. Oh, and he just hits that stopping point. That's a very common sticking point for a lot of folks in the bench press, right when that transition happens from the chest to the triceps. Joy Black, she's able to lock it out. Will the judges give her a good lift? And they do.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is your gold medalist in the Women's Equipped Masters Bench Press Division, Joy Black.
Here's Delaney Sousley up again, retaking 85 kilos. On platform 1, Mark Davis taking the same weight, 275 on platform 2. We see over on platform 1, they're putting some blocks down there on the bench press. And that is also lifter preference. If a lifter feels that they get a little bit better of a leg drive with having their feet a little bit closer to the ground, they can elect to have blocks put under their feet. All come in varying sizes, shapes, and colors, literally. Delaney Sousley, multiple-time national champion.
And wow, what a grind there by Mark Davis, platform 2.
Look, just to be a little bit heavy on the day there for Delaney, and you're going to see that sticking point get a lot closer to the chest, especially as they get wider in their grip. So good run there for Delaney Sousley. She does put up a singular opener bench press of 80 kilos. Coming up next, Tish Horn. She's able to come back from that missed 80-kilo opener, going up 10 kilos, up to 90 kilos. That's 198 pounds. And then Scott Aaron, Mr. Benchy Pants, I believe, 130 kilos, 286 pounds. That's going to be a no-go. Good lift, good run there for Tish either way. Still comes away with 80 kilos on the bar. Up next, Robert Evans, 140 kilos. He did miss that second attempt. It looked like it was a very close sticking point, so we'll see if he's able to come back from that. And then if we take our attention over to platform 1, we've got an American record attempt. Miss Brianna Boardman is going to be taking not 92.5 kilos, not 95 kilos. She's going to be taking 93 kilos, 205 pounds. Oh, and can she find her way? She does not want to give up. Oh, unfortunately, the body gives way before the mind.
And over on platform 2, unfortunately, Robert was unsuccessful. 140, able to log it out this time, just gets called for soft elbows. 2-1.
And when you're talking about the bench press in the general context of the meet, these third attempt bench press is the most commonly missed lift across the 9. That's just statistically a fact. And so think about that being the only lift that you have to do. You're going to go for it.
Yeah. And it being the lift that matters the most here, right? And again, these lifters have 3 attempts, and their day is over. Some of these lifters might come back and compete at a different session, but that is a completely separate event. So now, I mean, these ladies and gentlemen are focused on the 3 attempts they have right ahead of them. And Elizabeth Richardson locks out 102.5. Good recovery there, and she gets 3 white lights.
Charlie Page starting off.
Very narrow grip there for Charlie. All that triceps.
Here's Allison Schutt, 137.5 kilos, 303 pounds, just crossing over that 300-pound barrier. And Brian Scott taking 440 pounds. Both lifters are quote-unquote equipped. We see wearing the Titan bench shirt. And it's going to be a no-go for Brian. Good grab there for the spotters and loaders. Can Allison Schupp lock it out? She can. And that's a good lift. 3 white lights. All right, folks, our first of 2 lifters on platform 2 at risk of not being able to post a bench for this session here. Carlo Melendez, he needs to get this bench press attempt 441 pounds in order to get on the board.
And not only that, but this is for a silver medal in the men's equipped division. So this is not only a lift to stay in the meet, but to get a medal here at the Arnold. A lot at stake here.
Oh, Rachel Hannon got a little bit misgrooved, got a little bit too fast to the head there. Good grab there. Very quick grab by the spotters and loaders.
All right, let's go, Carlo.
Fortunately, that's not going to go. Carlo Melendez not able to post a bench, unfortunately. I think it might have just went a little bit too heavy to start out. And that's another factor that's going to be hard to gauge when you throw in a bench shirt. You know, that shirt is going to make the heavyweights feel a little bit easier, but to what point? Natalie Richardson up next. Oh, she inches her way up there. And you are allowed to unlock evenly just so long as that bar does not go back down. But it looks like the judges saw a little bit of that. At least one of them did.
We're moving along onto Flight B for our Platform 1 lifters.
Bianca Giorgilli, 47.5 kilos for her opening bench attempt. And then on platform 2, Jeff Sussman taking attempt number 3, 457 pounds. Easy open there for Bianca.
And again, Jeff covering some ground after missing and retaking his opening attempt.
It's a 15-kilo jump, which is about 30 pounds. And unfortunately not going to go.
Good grab by our spotters. You can see that bar swaying side to side. Again, it becoming a balance issue. When you have that much weight on the bar, and that you have to balance all that within that pad. I mean, it really is a balancing game there.
Sue Burns taking her opening attempt, 52.5 kilos. And then again, here's our second lifter on platform 2, at risk of not being able to post a bench press. Brian Albert, 207.5 kilos locked and loaded for him.
And nothing gets any greater than an all or nothing lift here, but for Brian Albert, either he bombs out or is forecasted first.
Can he get off the bench? Fortunately, folks, he is not going to go. That is going to be a no lift for Brian Albert. Unfortunately, not able to post his total there as well. Up next after that, Derek Gottschalk, 227.5 kilos, 491 pounds. Sorry, 501 pounds. This is a 500-pound bench press for Derek Gottschalk. And on platform 1, Gretchen Goal, taking 57.5 kilos to 126 pounds. Just going to be a little bit too heavy there on the day for Derek. Still comes away with a 475-pound bench press. Very massive regardless. And now, folks, one thing we're going to notice, especially as we get later on into this session, we might see some repeat folks. So on platform 1, if you guys want to follow along to the live action, go ahead and check out www.liftingcast/meets. Scroll down to the Arnold USA Powerlifting Open and Masters Bench Bash, and you get platform 1 or 2. But if we look at flight C here, we see Natalie Richardson. Well, wait a second. Natalie Richardson already competed. Well, in flight B, we've got Elizabeth Richardson coming up next. Well, wait a minute. We already saw Elizabeth Richardson. How does that work? Well, folks, if you qualify for the equipped and you qualify for the raw, who's to say you can't do both?
Right, and then if you actually look at the division they're competing at, one of them's raw, one of them's equipped. So it's two completely separate events competing against two separate sets of women. So again, you're seeing the same name on the same roster twice, but you can register them as two separate lifters because they're competing in different categories, getting different medals. And again, who's to say that Natalie Richardson or Elizabeth Richardson might walk away with multiple medals on a given day?
Absolutely. And then we might see something like that here. But come first, Cynthia Moffitt. It looks like she's rocking a Nike powerlifting singlet, folks. One of our newest sponsors for USA Powerlifting. You heard it, Nike. Now supporting for exclusive powerlifting shoes on discount for USA Powerlifting members.
And for our final bench press attempt on flight A, Nick taking 317.5. Nick, let's find out how much an animal weighs. That is 317.5 kilos.
He is about to bench press the equivalent of a bottlenose dolphin. Nick Benrakis. Almost 660 pounds.
Gives a shake of a head there as his bar was coming down to his chest, but still walks away with 295 kilos, the weight of a buffalo.
And that's a huge jump. That was 295 to 317. That is well over a 20-kilo jump. Almost 50-pound jump there.
Yeah, nonetheless, he does walk away with the gold medal in the men's equipped open bench press division.
Platform 1, now on to our raw bench presses. Elizabeth Richardson did have an excellent raw bench press at 65 kilos. Coming up next, Reina Mata on platform 1, 87.5 kilos. And then over on platform 2, Gary Villeneuve, 107.5. That's 237 pounds. And folks, we're here at the Arnold Sports Festival. The expo here is in full swing. Reina Mata gets that start command. Very clean. And we're going to see a little, probably quicker benches across the board now that we have are exclusively raw bench pressers. They don't have to work against the shirt, and so they don't have to necessarily go down as slow, as balanced. And so we might see a few more benches that are a little bit more momentum dependent. They're going to bring that bar down to the chest a little bit quicker. We're also going to see some different positioning, some different hand widths. Even though it's just bench, it can be very interesting. So stay tuned, folks.
Again, sometimes an equipped lifter might need to spread out their feet a little bit more, get a wider base, like we talked about the balancing factor in the equip. But here we see some of the lifters just trying to maximize that grip, lower that range of motion. And like we see here in Winona, really good attempt there with 90 kilos, 3 white lights.
Aaron Gaynor, 270 pound for an opening attempt. Very close grip bench presser as well. For the folks at home, the regulation max width for our bench pressers is having their index finger on the smooth ring of the bar. So it's a little bit tough to see from this angle, but if you look super close, you'll see a little smooth ring on the very ends of the bar. That is the widest our lifters can have their hands, their index finger on that bar. And for a lot of lifters that are a lot more chest dependent or are used to having a wider grip, that's a lot more beneficial for them. For folks that have a little bit of a closer grip, that rely a little bit more on their arm strength, maybe a little bit more of the momentum off the chest, they're going to be a little bit stronger with that close grip position. Oh, insert Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, oh. We see another one. Rachel Hannon, platform 1. She just did a whole run of equip benching. Now she's going to do her raw benching. 3 white lights.
Throwing around weight like it's nothing, really. I mean, some of these lifters are not only exclusively bench press athletes, but I mean, they've been competing full power, bench only for years. And look what we have here on screen. You
can't play this easy. You can't. This is storybook right here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, what a love story this is right here.
You've got Jennifer Thompson and Jennifer Thompson's husband, Donovan Thompson. Easy opener at 132.5 kilos there. And then the multiple-time world bench press champion, Jennifer Thompson, taking her opening attempt at 264 pounds. Jennifer Thompson getting the unrack there. Very smooth. And that's a world-class bench press right there from the world champion.
I mean, she competes at IDFPA World. She competed in Albany. She competed at the Arnold last year. Like, she's well-seasoned. If you look at her open powerlifting, I mean, it just scrolls with titles and championships.
I think she's one of the first ones to have a page 2 in her open powerlifting account. Coming up next, Howard Aaron on platform 1, 380 pounds. And then Marissa Widener on platform 1, 122.5 kilos. That's 281 pounds. Smooth bench press there. Marissa Widener very fast to the chest there, able to get a faster press command. Now let's talk a little bit about that press command. Kevin, as a referee, as a head referee, what are you looking for to give that press command?
Absolutely. So once that bar comes into contact with the bench, with the chest, it's not like you're counting 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, or anything like that, right? It really is about, and as defined by the rule book, is the bar needs to be motionless on the chest, meaning the bar has to come to a complete stop, can't be swaying, can't be bouncing, has to be completely still. And so a lifter sometimes runs into the issue of that bar either continuously sinking down the chest, swaying side to side, or whatever.
Or the case of our equipped lifters, not even getting to the chest.
Not even getting to the chest, yeah, absolutely. So once that bar is completely motionless on the chest, that moment is when the chief referee will give the signal press, and that lifter can start their recovery attempt. So there isn't a predetermined amount of time that bar needs to be laid up on the chest. I mean, it could be half a second, it could be 3 seconds, right? It really is dependent on the lifter themselves.
Yeah, and I like what you were getting at there. That was the meat of what I was trying to get at there. There is no predetermined amount of time for that press command. The quicker you're able to show the referee that you stopped that bar, the faster you're going to get it, the easier of a time you're going to have. So practice that. When you're at home and you're in the gym, practice making definitive pauses, quick definitive pauses, and it will pay you dividends here in the meet.
And I promise we're not out to get you guys.
He might not. I might. Sue Burns, easy second attempt here, 55 kilos. And Joseph Smith on platform 2 taking 165.
Long way up, long way down. 165 gets 3 white lights.
363 pounds, very nice and easy. Chad Carker getting loaded up right after that. 182.5 kilos, 402 pounds. We are now into the 400-pound barrier, folks. Molly Mahoney up next on platform 1. Another 5-pound jump here for her. Smooth and steady, 3 white lights. Smooth bench pressing from both of our lifters here. Chad Carker, 402 pounds, 3 white lights. And if you're watching, some of our lifters are choosing to lift the bar off the rack themselves. If we're looking at Michael Wynn on platform 2, he is electing to have someone lift off the bar for them. That is just another point of lifter preference. If the lifter feels they need just that extra guidance, I know I, every now and then, need that extra guidance coming out of the rack, you can ask for it. That's what that head spotter is there for. If you don't, if you feel more stable lifting out of the rack on your own, then do that.
And I think you bring up a really good point there with lifter preferences. Oftentimes we see different techniques, different strategies, approaches on the way a lifter comes up to the bar, the way they unrack it, where they grip, wrist wraps, just every possible variable that can be manipulated for a lifter. I mean, it really comes down to lifter preference. So if somebody's telling you this is the only way or the right way to bench, don't take their word for it, right? Because a good coach would tell you, well, it's all about what a lifter prefers and what actually works for the lifter based off of their leverages, experience, muscle mass, everything like that. So again, it really depends on how a lifter is built, what they prefer, and what works for them that ultimately helps them be a successful power lifter.
Absolutely. I've heard that only Siths deal in absolutes. Cynthia Moffitt and Jaden Kazette, platform 1 and 2 respectively. Jaden with an easy 190-kilo opener. I want to be able to bench 400 pounds that easily. Technical director Jan Dario blessed us with the white monster. That means we are able to continue commentating for you guys throughout the rest of the session. Andrew Ernst, 195 kilos, 429 pounds. Oh, looks like we got a little bit of a miscommunication here on platform 1. Looks like we got a little bit of a misload in weight. Curious. We'll see what the referees say there. Andrew Ernst making easy work of 429. That's going to be 3 white lights.
These guys are throwing around 400 pounds like it's nothing. I mean, opening up with raw, again, remind you raw, so these guys are not wearing any supportive suits. It's just, I mean, it's just laying down on the bench, right, getting that bar and pressing it off your chest. I mean, Jordan, 200 kilos, 440 pounds for an opening bench press attempt. Double, triple checking the bar, make sure it's properly loaded.
Looks like we've got a bit of a LiftingCast, kind of a loading issue on platform 1, so we're going to get that sorted out.
Can never complain with some extra minutes to get those wrist wraps and rest.
Never, and especially with bench press, it can go really quickly. And they put that in as a no lift for Cynthia. Up next, Elizabeth Richardson, 70 kilos, 154 pounds. And Jalen Manning going to round out our opening attempts at 205 kilos. And there's almost a priming effect that you can see with some of the lifters that we're kind of seeing double dip in these other flights. By starting off with the equipped bench, by putting your body under such high stress so early, you almost kind of prime yourself for hitting the lighter weights a little bit easier and a little bit smoother.
Absolutely. It's almost like you're doing a heavy hold, right? Just with an extra rep added to it, right?
Exactly.
You're getting your central nervous system ready to handle that weight. That way, once that shirt comes off, you can already like basically bench press that weight raw.
You said heavy hold. Oh, the raw coaches are going to get mad at you for that one. Better be careful. Here's Reina Mata taking her second attempt at 92.5 kilos, 203 pounds. Very easy.
A very nice technical bench press, very soft touch on the chest. And again, remember, she gets that soft touch on the chest. Very quick and easy press command for her.
Here's Gary Villeneuve. Ooh, that's a long way to go for Gary. Doesn't have a very high arch, doesn't have a very wide grip. That is the most honorable, excuse me. I would say that's comparable to a conventional deadlift.
Yeah.
In terms of bench press. That's just the longest way to go. But it works.
And again, you can't cheat that. You really can't cheat a very flat back, close grip bench press.
No, and with such a long range of motion like that, getting any sort of up and downward motion is going to be very, very clear to the judges. Jack Rubio's up next, 130 kilos. 3 white lights.
Aaron Gaynor, take the same weight, 130 kilos.
And a beautiful second attempt for Olivia. 220 pounds, 3 white lights.
And ladies and gentlemen, one thing you'll notice if we compare the results of Flight A versus Flight B as we transition over to raw versus equipped, we're seeing a lot more consistency in the raw bench press portion compared to the equipped. Why might that be the case?
Balance. Balance, balance, balance is the key. And it all comes down to that shirt, right? Like we've said it a few times already, but having that shirt adds on a completely new variable for your bench press. And so to be able to not only have the strength to hold the weight in your hands to bench it, but you also have to work against the suit. And that suit, doing so can be very, very inconsistent. When you don't have that shirt on, you take out that variable completely. It's just you, your body, and the bar. And so when you're able to do that, you're able to hold the weight a whole lot easier because your body's doing what it's naturally supposed to do.
Again, it really does put you in a whole new set of range of motion, a whole new bar path that your body has to adapt and adjust. Very completely different, like you said, than a raw bench press. Sometimes you might even see an equipped lifter take their opening attempt raw just to get something on the board because of the unpredictability or the balancing that might go into a equipped bench press. And over here, I'm hearing Gino on the mic, world record attempt on platform 2 by Howard Aaron, 151 kilos loaded on the bar here.
Yep, we see a 0.5 kilo chip loaded on there. 151 kilos. That is 332 pounds, I believe. Yes. Oh, I guessed that. I didn't even know the number was in the back there. Howard Aaron, 332 pounds. And then on platform 1, the Jennifer Thompson. 10 kilo jump to 286 pounds. That's about 22 pounds. So think of it of putting like another 10 on each side for Miss Thompson here. Howard Aaron, another one of those lifters, not a very high arch, does have a bit of a wider grip there.
And a world record in the Masters 4 division. 73 years young, benching 332 pounds raw, ladies and gentlemen.
And And Jen Thompson with an excellent attempt on platform 2. She's going to take us, or platform 1, excuse me. She's going to take us to the very top of the lineup. Bianca's going to go up 2.5 kilos to 115 pounds. And Bradley Babbs up next, taking 341 pounds. Oh, man. Bradley Babbs, Masters bench press lifter. I don't even know if I'll still be benching by the time I'm in the Masters class, but to be able to bench this well, this heavy, this smoothly is a feat in and of itself. Congratulations, Bradley, for that easy second attempt.
Yep, Mike Burns, 5-kilo jump here, 162.5 up next.
That was a good lift for Bianca. She finishes out 3 for 3 on her benches, and she can head home. Sue Burns up next, going up 5 kilos. Small jump from the first to second attempt, but a larger jump from second to third. Oh, can Miss Sue find her way off the chest? That's going to be a no lift there. Good grab by our spotters and loaders. Joe Smith, platform 2, 386 pounds. Quick shout out to our barbell production team. Folks providing the live stream media, commentary, photo, video, all sorts of media coverage for your USA Powerlifting events here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Here's Joseph Smith, another just a very long way to go. And that's not going to go, so good grab there by the spotters and loaders.
One thing I wanted to mention too with these divisions that are stacked beyond what a flight would allow of 15 lifters is these lifters in Flight B are competing against lifters in Flight C, lifting right after them. So one important caveat or consideration some of these coaching staffs and lifters have to keep in mind is they are lifting against people lifting after them. So they almost can't afford to miss any lift, right? Because they're trying to put up the highest possible dots, the highest possible total, and try to fend off and watch from the stands the people lifting right after them.
Absolutely, and from the opposite side of that spectrum, you know, as the lifter that's going to be lifting next, you've got your work cut out for you. Yeah. You know what your lifters have already done. You know what you've got to do. And to some extent, if that gives you an opportunity to push ahead, then go for it. If it's too far out of reach, then that means you get to focus on your day.
Flight B lifters kind of set that mark, and then Flight C lifters see if they can exceed that or if they just try to find and finagle their way into those placings.
Here's Olga taking her third attempt at 62.5 kilos. 3 white lights, done and dusted. Here's Michael Wynn on platform 2, 429 pounds, and this will be a world record attempt. That's unfortunately going to be a no-go there for Michael.
Again, this is just his second attempt, so he has one more go at it. So
that's right.
We might see it fall on the third attempt.
Oh, Miss Cynthia Moffitt, that's going to be a no-go. By the time she started pressing out, I don't even think she got to the chest, so she didn't get that press command. So she'll finish out with 60 kilos, 132 pounds. Elizabeth Richardson up next. Mother Richardson, 72.5 kilos, 159 pounds.
Some of these people needing no introduction, given how often we see them, right? We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next session, you know.
Yeah, we'll see her tomorrow. We'll probably see her Sunday. She'll be back next week. Jalen Manning, no wrist wraps, no problem, 451 pounds. That looked like a stable bench to me. I'm not sure what the red lights were in the first attempt, but that's going to be a good attempt for Jalen on the second.
kind of overrides that mistake once you actually succeed and get that second attempt on the board.
What opening attempt?
Yeah.
What opener? Never happened. All right, here's Reina on platform 1, taking her last attempt at 95 kilos, 209 pounds, and then Andrew Ernst on platform 2, 451 pounds. Reina choosing to get a lift off, or at least some assistance there from our head spotter, getting the bar out of the rack. Andrew choosing to go self-lift off today. Wow.
And our back-to-back lifters, both Jalen and Andrew, smoking 205, separated by only 0.2 of a dot points with their 205 attempts. I mean, talk about how close this is. I mean, they both weighed in at 88.55, 88.75 respectively, and separated by only 0.2 of a dots.
Folks, we've got a world record attempt on platform 2. Jaden Cassette, 207 and a half kilos.
Seeing this correctly? He's
19
years old, benching 457 pounds. Holy cow.
Might not be a cow. Hold on. Let's see what the weight equivalent there is. Beautiful third attempt for Winona.
220 pounds there for Winona, third attempt.
And Jaden Cassette, for this second attempt, he is actually benching a lion.
Wow.
Male lions weigh about 190 kilos on average. So,
King of the jungle, king of the
platform.
Of the team
we're going to
division,
see.
yeah. I mean, what other teams do you see benching 457 pounds at the Arnold?
Who else do you see benching 457?
Yeah, in general.
In general. Rachel Hannon getting set up under her last attempt, 107.5 kilos. Rachel having a phenomenal day thus far. I just got a little bit too heavy there. And that can be the difference. That second attempt moved extremely smooth. You put on another 5 kilos, and it just feels like a brick. But congratulations to Rachel Hannon there. 2 back-to-back flights of benching. That's tough. Very congratulatory for her. Up next is Olivia's taking 237 pounds as well. And now when we do have a world record attempt like we do on platform 2, we got to be sure we get the right kind of judges on the platform. This is considered a national level event, so we already have national level referees on the platform. We do have to have international level referees, so we need to have 3 more Kevins on the platform. Unfortunately, Kevin's back here with me, so they don't get him, but they need 3 more international level referees in order to officiate this lift. So we got to be sure that we either grab one from the other platform or we grab one from the technical director's table, the jury table. But once we get those juries in place, then the bar is loaded and Jaden's platform is set.
Talking about bars loaded, Jen Thompson, platform 1, 132.5 kilos. £292, Jen Thompson. Very, very strong bench press. Jen Thompson. And that is 2 golds with 1 lift. She's registered in both divisions, competing in the Open and in the Masters. So it's really impressive to see Jen Thompson at 52 years young competing and winning against Open lifters.
That's right. And now, while that is decently far from her top end, we have seen her hit almost 3 plates in competition. For her to come into the Arnold and smoke 292, exceptional.
Again, I think one of the big highlights isn't necessarily the peak weight, right? Because we know she's a little bit past that prime, but the consistency in just being able to come meet after meet after meet and go 3 for 3 like we're seeing here. I mean, that's longevity.
And there's nothing to say that you can't just keep taking the records from all the Masters divisions as well. You've got Masters 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B.
We'll see you in 30 years, Masters 5.
And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely not. Green white lights there for Marissa Widener, platform 1, We are now moving along into Flight C lifters. Amelia with 70 kilos as her opening attempt.
Amelia Ferries, 154 pounds for our last flight of benchers for the Open and Masters Bench Bash here at the Arnold Sports Festival.
Here we're double, triple, quadruple checking our platform status on platform 2 for Jaden Cassette, again taking a world record attempt of 207.5 kilos at 19 years old. So don't go anywhere, we still have this attempt to go.
Great bench press opener there, 70 kilos, 3 white lights. Coming up next, Jessica Fox. This is 165 pounds. She's competing in our Masters bench press category. And a lot of folks, if they so choose, they are able to double register in both the Masters or the Open class. So you could choose to compete with the folks in your age division, or you could choose to compete against the whole rest of the field, or both. Totally up to you.
You can very well walk away with 10 medals if you double division and if you compete in multiple sessions throughout the Arnold.
Jessica Fox here, 75 kilos, 3 white lights. Doreen Munoz coming up next, 77.5 kilos. A little bit of an update here on platform 2. We did have a little bit of a LiftingCast snafu, so we had someone lift under the wrong name, but it looks like we did get that figured out now. Mr. Jaden Cassette is under the platform now. This is 205 kilos, 451 pounds. Doreen Munoz, platform 1, getting set up there.
I think we're just sorting out the lifting order there. We are now moving along to Jordan Weber. Final second attempt here for platform 2.
Bars loaded up next for Jessica Russell, 77.5 kilos. Jessica Russell from my home state of North Carolina, letting that head spotter know exactly how she wants that lift off. Over on platform 2, we've got Jordan Weber, 463 pounds. Ooh, it's a big bench. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no-go for Jordan, and that'll take us up to the third attempts on platform 2.
And so we previously talked about how a slight delay might play into an advantage in your part if you need a little bit more minutes of rest time. However, I think what we just saw in Flight B might actually play into a lifter's disadvantage, where we already see it. We have a pretty long flight of about 15 lifters in Flight B, and now adding, I would say, how long was that break? Like maybe a little less than 10 minutes, maybe?
Probably about 5 or 6 minutes.
5 or 6 minutes, yeah.
Which is enough.
It's enough to make a difference in how warm a lifter feels and how they go into the platform, just kind of based off of their timing of the previous attempts.
Gary Villeneuve, very strong third attempt. Slow and steady, but he locked it out nonetheless, and that's going to be 3 white lights. Jack Rubio's going to come up right behind with 292 pounds, excuse me. Sarah Isaac, 85 kilos, locked and loaded. Here's Jack Rubio on platform 2, very wide grip bench here. And that's going to be a no-go there. Good grab by the spotters and loaders. Sarah Isaac brought that bar down super fast. but we saw it bounce just a little bit, and we did not get that major press command until the bar stopped bouncing. Important distinction there for the folks watching at home. Suzette Escobar is up next to 85 kilos, 187 pounds. And then Mr. Aaron Gaynor on platform 3, 135 kilos, 297 pounds. We are cruising right along, folks. We're on our last flight of bench pressing on platform 1, almost done with our second flight of bench pressing on platform 2. Just to give you guys a little bit of a time reference, we should be done here in about, probably about an hour at the very most.
And again, with the raw bench presses now being the remaining bench presses for the session, again, it moves smoother than the equipped, as we have seen in Flight A for both flights, or platforms 1 and 2 respectively.
Here's Jennifer Thompson's husband, Donovan Thompson. Mary Arrudia, 214 pounds, goes up super easy. 3 white lights there. 330 pounds for Donovan Thompson. That's going to be a no lift there. He'll finish out with 142.5 kilos. That's 314 pounds. Mercedes Taylor, very close grip bench press here, but moves 237 like absolute butter.
We got another attempt of some sort here on platform 2. Could be an American record attempt.
Getting the hype from the spotters and loaders.
And I hear a world record attempt is being attempted here on platform 2. Howard Aaron, 152 kilos. World record attempt, platform 2.
Oh, and what a run that was. Good attempt there for Howard Aaron. He still comes away with 1 world record attempt at 151 kilos. Just tried to make that a little bit bigger. Not able to. He still comes away with a massive win on the day. We just missed Natalie Richardson on platform 1, taking her opening bench at 117.5 kilos. Easy opener there. And folks, if you guys are watching at home and tuning in to the Open and Masters Bench Press Bench Bash and have any questions for us that you want myself or Kevin to answer, feel free to do so. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have. Bradley Babs, he locks out his 3rd attempt, and that's going to be a no lift, unfortunately. 352 pounds does not go. It looks like his foot came up just a little bit. You do have to have full foot contact with the floor at all times. Here's Mr. Mike Burns taking 363 pounds. Just a routine bench day for Mike Burns. Easily with another 6 or 7, maybe 80 pounds on the bar. That was fantastic. Up next, Cipriana Castellano, 275 pounds for her opening bench attempt.
Do you see how fast that moved?
That was comically fast. Wow.
I had the pleasure of doing commentary for Cipriana at Raw Nationals. She
I thought her name sounded familiar.
Joseph Smith retaking 175, platform 2.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an order issue there, but we've got Joseph Smith. Oh! And even if he were to get that
again
locked out, I'm not sure that would have gone. He had a little bit of a heave as well.
Yeah, I believe that those hips kind of rose up as well, but coming off the bench, just trying to see any way, shape, or form if he can lock out that bench. Amelia struggling to lock out 72.5 kilos, manages to get it up and get a rack, man. But let's see what the referees say. Potentially up and down movement of the bar. Yeah, we see that here on the lights.
Here's Chad Carker looking to retake 192.5 kilos. That's 424 pounds. Jessica Fox making her way up to 80 kilos. That's 176 pounds. Both lifters getting assistance out of the rack. What a show.
Ooh,
Chad Carker.
Recovery there.
2-1. He's on the board.
As you can get there. 2-1. Wow, what an attempt.
Bars loaded up next for our last few third attempts on platform 2. Michael Wynn's going to be taking 429 pounds. Jessica Russell coming up next on platform 1, taking 181 pounds. Michael Wynn, I believe he touched a little bit too low on the chest. They're not able to find his way to lock out. Jessica Russell, very smooth press out there on platform 1. 3 white lights. We've got a world record attempt coming from Mr. Jaden Cassette, 207.5 kilos.
And again, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, Jaden is 19 years old, benching 450. I still can't wrap my head around that. I mean, how are you 19 years old?
A lot of folks at 19 can't deadlift 400 pounds. Sorry, this is an American record attempt, not a world record. Excuse me, American record attempt for Jaden Cassette.
No wrist wraps. I mean, this is as bare bones of a bench press as it gets. Self handoff too. Wow.
Oh, man. And see, just like we were saying, the difference of 2.5 kilos can mean a very easy lockout or it's just not moving out of that sticking point.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of look at the attempt selection. Think of the strategy there. I mean, jumping 15 kilos, which is 2.5 kilos shy of what the American record is, right? You just see how potentially the attempt selection might have played into a disadvantage there.
Sure.
Taking too heavy of a second attempt there, but again, the coaching staff knows best. Maybe the second attempt didn't move as they planned, and they just opted to take that safe 2.5 kilo jump. So who knows what might be going on in the back coaching room.
Jordan Weber, 210 kilos, 463 pounds. Sarah Isaac has 198 pounds loaded up for her. She did miss that opening attempt, but still electing to go up. That's going to be a no lift there for Jordan Weber on 3.
And again, for our last 2 lifters on flight B, Andrew and Jalen respectively going for 215 and 217.5. Again, we talked about these 2 lifters kind of trading placements back and forth. They're currently sitting at Jalen in first, Andrew in second, with Andrew going up first, trying to overtake Jalen via dots. So these guys are separated by 0.2 of a dots point. So this is half of an attempt basically. I mean, these guys need to get these last attempts in order to try to jockey for placement.
You can't get much closer than that, folks.
Andrew will have first go at it. Third attempt bench press, 215 kilos, 475 pounds. Platform 2.
Ooh. And those were stable jumps there, 195, 205, 215. Stable, about 20-pound jumps across the board. But if you compared his second attempt to his first, it looked like he brought it down just a little bit slower on this attempt here. And you got to kind of play that party line where do you expend the extra energy, making sure you can control it down, or do you bring the same speed to the chest, if not faster, in hopes to use that momentum?
And for the gold medal and a world record attempt at platform 2, Jalen Manning, 217.5 kilos, 481 pounds here on 79 pounds platform 2. Weighing in at 88.5 kilos, just under 196 pounds.
Oh, and that's going to be a no-go.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the first and second placements for our men's Raw Open are separated by only, if I'm reading this correctly, if I'm doing my math correctly, 0.15 of a dot points.
That is correct.
Yeah. That is remarkably.
I didn't major in math, but I know those numbers.
Small, yeah.
And we're on to our third flight of bench pressing on platform 2, our last flight of bench pressing on platform 2. And we are about halfway through our last round of bench pressing on platform 1. Natalie Richardson looking to double dip once again, taking 125 kilos, 275 pounds. Natalie Richardson wouldn't be a national bench press champion if she weren't able to come away like this. 5 for 6 on the day. Natalie Richardson. Sorry. Nope, might have spoken too soon. We're still on second attempts. Let me zip my lip.
5 for 5?
5 for 5 so far. 4 for 5.
4 for 5, yeah.
Cipriana Castellano going up 2.5 kilos to 281 pounds. Joel Wyman starting off our last attempt, our last flight of benches. First attempt on platform 2, 150 kilos, 330 pounds.
Ms. Castellano, another lifter whom I believe is competing tomorrow in the Female Raw Challenge. Just trying to get some bench presses here on the board, taking small jumps, 127.5 kilos. And I say small, but I mean, look how fast.
I was going to say that's kind of becoming the training meta a little bit. If you're competing on one day to kind of, you know, we're kind of moving away from the you got to take a week off before. No, a lot of people train the day before.
The day before.
Some people
train the day of.
You know, if they need that extra touch, if they need to feel the bench press in order to feel strong, that's what you got to do.
132 is loaded on platform 1.
That's
Shelby
a record.
Morse. Yep, that is a record of some sort. I believe it might be an American record.
Logan Beganowski, 352 pounds, nice and easy. Shelby Morse. This is 291 pounds. She'll be our last bencher for this flight before we go on to our third attempts. Wow. And what a bench press it was.
Despite it being a near 10-kilo jump, I mean, still moving it with ease, Shelby Morse.
Kevin Almaras, easy 396-pound bench there.
Oh, we're getting into some big bench presses here in platform 2.
Amelia Ferries going to be retaking 72.5 kilos. And David Sneen on platform 2, 182.5 kilos, opening with an American record attempt at 402 pounds.
I mean, it's a competition within himself, right? I mean, to be opening with an American record, I mean, he really is just competing against whatever the bar is.
Jessica Fox drawing energy from the crowd. 82.5 kilos is no small feat. This is 181 pounds. Like we said, we've got David Sneen over on platform 2. Wow. No wrist wraps. No other equipment besides shoes and his singlet. What the heck? David Sneen, 3 white lights.
And he has 2 more attempts.
That's right. That was his opener.
Yeah, it was an opener.
All right, folks, we're on to thirds. Our last round of benching on platform 1. Jessica Russell's going to take her last attempt at 187.5 pounds. Choosing to get some help out of the rack there. Oh. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no-go. He did find his way to lockout, but some pretty big up and downward motion there. Looked like a missed groove there. Jessica Russell, a little bit too heavy on the day. She'll still come away with 82.5 kilos. Doreen Munoz up next, 90 kilos, 198 pounds.
And Roy Johnson, 197.5 kilos, platform 2. Rocking that USA singlet. Not sure what brand that is, but sure looks really good.
It's sharp.
Yep.
This is an opening bench press for a master's lifter at 435 pounds. Can we talk about that for a second?
I'm a little scared of what we got coming up next. I mean, we're not even like halfway down the flight yet.
Easy third attempt there for Doreen on platform 1.
So as you see, our chief referee gave him a replace command, meaning that he was not in an adequate position to start the lift. So our referee is indicating that he needs to lock out his elbows just a little bit more in order to get that start command. But fortunately, I believe he'll be timing out. His 60-second clock is running out. So Roy Johnson will be unsuccessful in that attempt, but he'll have another go at it for his second. Hoping he can lock out those elbows next time coming around.
Kelly Foreman, very, very smooth third attempt, 90 kilos, 198 pounds. We're going to come off the platform very stoked with that attempt. 3 white lights. We've got about 6 lifters left before we finish our competition on platform 1. Derek Gagnon, very easy opening bench there at 205 kilos, 451 pounds. Dylan Johnson, 210 kilos, 463 pounds, coming up right behind him. Over on platform 1, Suzette Escobar. Bar is loaded.
Suzette, another lifter who is double dipped into multiple divisions, competing both in the Open and in the Masters, looking to claim medals on both ends.
Good grab there by the spotters and loaders for Suzette. It was just a little bit too heavy on the day.
Still walks away with 90 kilos on her. Dylan with an easy 210 kilo opening bench press attempt. Now we're kicking the bar up to 220 kilos, 485 pounds for Jonathan. Over on platform 1, Macy taking 226 pounds. For those of you watching at home, this is the equivalent of 2 commercial gym plates. So she is benching 225 here, platform 1.
Oh my
what a
goodness,
grind.
what a grind!
Just a little too much there, just kind of stalls midway up the lift, but wow, what a grind there by Macy.
You got to at that point. What a run there for Macy. She'll come away with 97.5 kilos. Up next, Mercedes Taylor going up 5 pounds to 259 pounds. And then over on platform 2, we've got Aaron Latinsky opening with 507 pounds. Easy bench there for Mercedes. She just walked in, hit some easy 3 benches, and dipped. That's how it's done, folks. 2 white lights. She'll come away, one of our only lifters to come away 3 for 3 on the day. Bars loaded up next for Natalie Richardson. Now, this is Natalie Richardson's last attempt. 286 pounds. Aaron Latinsky getting the full spotter staff for his opening bench attempt at 507 pounds.
What a flex that is, right? Getting all spotters.
I couldn't even finish my sentence before he finished benching it. That was freaky fast. That was freaky fast. If you were to put a velocity tracker on him, I would imagine it didn't even register. That was so fast. Natalie Richardson, unfortunately, not able to get that third attempt at 286, but she'll still come away 4 for 6 on the day, having done 6 benches back-to-back. You can't argue for a better day from that. And I believe Natalie Richardson will still come away as your first place finisher in both the open and the equipped.
Yeah, just talk about work capacity, right? Being able to hit maximal loads multiple times.
Absolutely.
Throughout the day.
Cipriana Castellano taking 132.5, 292 pounds. And boy, was it beautiful. 3 white lights.
Daryl Funk, 240 kilos. Opening bench press attempt, 529. Oh, my.
But look at his arms. Objectively speaking, those are some of the biggest arms I have ever seen.
Those look like my thighs.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, folks, we've got our last bench presser on platform 1. 136.5 kilos. Oh, that sounds like an odd number, so that must mean we've got us an American record attempt. Shelby Morse, 300.93 pounds. We'll call it 301 for the folks at home.
Broke her own record on the second attempt, looking to break and exceed her own record she just set a few minutes ago here for her third attempt.
Platform 2, we've got Alvin Roswell still getting set up. So let's see Shelby on platform 1. Look at that. 2 to 1, and that's going to be a good lift for Shelby Morse.
And we just saw our heaviest bench press opener on platform 2, Alvin Roswell, 3 white lights, 247.5 kilos. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our platform 1 session for the USA Powerlifting Open and Masters Bench Bash. However, we still have our platform 2 lifters going on. Flight C will be commencing their second attempt bench presses, kicking us off with Ty Fitzgerald retaking 120 kilos. Bar is loaded.
Here we go, Ty Fitzgerald again looking to retake 264 pounds. A lot smoother that go around, made sure to set the pause, and that's going to be a 2 to 1. Good lift. We see a blue card from one of the side judges, but still 2 to 1. That is a good lift. Hey, Barber Mike, how we doing? Joel Wyman, 352 kilos. 352 pounds. 160 kilos. Very strong press there. That's going to be a good lift for Joel.
2 to 1. Gets a blue card, so either up and down movement of the bar or his elbows might have not been fully locked out at the starter end of the lift.
Logan Beganowski, 374 pounds for his second attempt bench press.
Can't get any smoother than that. 3 white lights. Kevin Almaraz, 190 kilos, 418 pounds.
Here's Kevin Almaraz.
Kevin currently forecasted in the 5th place division, or for 5th place placing, looking to sneak into the podium if he is successful with this attempt.
Start command from head judge, press command from head judge. Not able to find his way out of that sticking point, so we'll probably retake that for the third.
David Sneen up next, who we saw take an American record bench press on his opener, is looking to exceed that, taking a 8.5 kilo jump here, going up to 191 kilos. So chips are coming onto the bar. American record attempt for Mr. David Sneen.
Now, David Sneen already opened, like you were saying, with an American record attempt, looking to increase that. To 191 kilos, 421 pounds. Now, the fact that he opened with an American record attempt kind of means that he can put whatever weight he wants in whatever increment he wants for his subsequent attempts. So here he's got 191 kilos. This is 400 pounds, folks. And he didn't look like he even tried. Look at that. 3 white lights. That is 2 white lights, excuse me. Exceptional for David Sneen.
Slow walk off, knowing what he just did, right? Just walking off the platform, knowing that you smoked that.
I would.
Yeah. I mean, when you're benching American records back to back to back, I mean, that's aura.
Here's Roy Johnson retaking 197.5. Now he is retaking this. He ended up getting a no lift for his opening attempt. Head ref saw that his arm wasn't fully locked out at the start, so we'll see if he's able to make that adjustment here and get a bench press command on the day. See that right arm a little bit more bent there.
Yeah, I believe that bar started to come down as soon as he got that. Oh, well, I'm going to
3
stay
white
quiet.
lights.
I'm going
He's
to
on
stay
the board.
quiet. And I see we got some love and fans here for Mr. Derek Gagnon, 217.5 kilos, D-Gags in the chat.
Ah, D-Gags.
Yeah, yeah. They've been going crazy for him in the chat here.
Oh, Kevin's watching? Hey, Kevin. Kevin Drury.
Yep, yep. Here we go, 217.5 kilos.
Here's Derek.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! I don't know if you noticed, he's got a Mandalorian tattoo on his forearm. Based, sir. Excellent work. 3 white lights for Derek. Easy second attempt there.
Yeah, 2 for 2 so far. Again, picked up 12.5 kilos. That's a sizable jump.
That's a big jump.
There you go, Dylan Johnson, 7.5 kilo jump, 217.5 kilos as well.
Very smooth
Very
bench there
nice.
from Dylan Johnson.
Man, these guys know bench. 3 white lights. So we see Raymond Willis taking 225 kilos for his second attempt bench press. Interesting jump here. We're seeing 30 kilos.
Interesting is a word for it. That is a 30-kilo increase from a missed opener. Not necessarily something that you would see every day.
Again, we don't know what's going on in the coaching staff, what he's hit in training, or what his background is, right? So we're going to really pay attention to see how he handles 225 kilos.
The bar is loaded for him. The clock is ticking. And now we're looking at Raymond Willis's meet record here. For the past few meets, he has opened at 195, 192.5 kilos. But he's only jumped about 10 kilos up to 205. Here we have a 225 jump, which is very different. And I imagine we're going to get a timeout here.
Yeah, he's down in 5 seconds here. So spotters and loaders loading up the next weight, getting the bar ready for Jonathan Myshak. 235 kilos now for Mr. Jonathan. So not sure what might be going on with Raymond. Misses opening attempt, so not sure if he's looking to concede and just time out his attempts, but we'll see as we circle back to third attempts. But right now we got Jonathan, 235 kilos on the bar. Very narrow grip there.
And that's a good attempt nonetheless for Jonathan Myshak. 15-kilo jump, that's about a 33-pound jump, which is not small by any means. And it did look like he was grinding it out for a little bit there, so I don't know how much energy he saved, how much energy he'll be able to bring into that third attempt, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Again, oftentimes with those narrow grip bench presses, it isn't so much the technique that comes into the biggest play as far as the execution and actually getting the lift, but rather actually muscling up the lift, right, and really locking out those triceps, getting that bar into that full lockout position.
Aaron Latinsky, 245 kilos. If there's ever a point in my powerlifting career, Kevin, and you've known me for a couple years now, if there's ever a point in my powerlifting career where you see me bench 540 pounds that quickly, tell me to hang it up, please, because I'm too good for this world. Are you kidding me?
You won.
That was way too fast.
You're waiting for Gym 2.
Give me bench 2. Like, we've leveled up. Aaron Latinsky with a brutally fast 540-pound bench.
Daryl Funk up next here, 250 kilos, 550 pounds, double dipped into the open and masters division.
And this is going to be a world record attempt for Daryl Funk. 551 pounds. Benching 550 pounds. Let's put that into perspective, folks.
Get out of here. That is
nuts. That's not real. I don't think, and these are second attempts. I don't think this is real. I don't think now. For USA Powerlifting, we pride ourselves on being a clean sport. We drug test our lifters, at least 10% of the population pool. If I can make a recommendation, let's check him out real quick, because that was silly fast.
Our head DCO officer, Jim Batfield, after him now.
Jim, if you're watching this in the back, just know that you've already you've got someone to look out for.
But that's not even our heaviest bench press we've seen so far. Alvin Roswell, 257.5 kilos, taking a 10-kilo jump.
My gosh. 567 pounds. Alvin Roswell.
Oh! Again, got really good energy and momentum coming up off the chest. It's just that final lockout point where the bar stalled, and that weight just kind of took him back. So it really is about trying to maintain that momentum throughout the entire lift.
And we're now on to our last round of bench pressing for the 2026 Masters and Open Bench Bash here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Bit of a scheduling note for you all. We will be done here probably about 11 o'clock, and then we will have our Masters Raw Challenge today at 1 o'clock, so be sure to tune in then. Ty Fitzgerald, 137.5 kilos. Can he find his way? Signal to the spotters and loaders to go ahead and grab that. Joel Weidman coming up next at 170 kilos, 374 pounds.
Looking to pick up an additional 10 kilos. Very consistent jumps here, 150, 160, 170. Something very predictable. Looks like he's getting caught there with a little bit of a heave, just kind of trying to last resort get that bar up, but unfortunately just a little too much for him on the day. Still walks away with 160 kilos.
Coming up next, Logan Beganowski, 177.5, 391 pounds.
With a last name like that, you almost want to say it twice.
Logan Beganowski. I do hope I'm at least pronouncing your name right, Logan. If I'm not, or if anybody knows Logan in the comments, please do let me know.
Gets that recommend, and referee says
that's going to be a good lift. Kevin Almaras going to be retaking 190 kilos, 418 pounds. Taking this time getting set up under there, gets the lift off. Gets the start command from head judge Paulie Steinman. Beautiful.
Nice.
It's not very often you get your bench commands from the president of the president of USA Powerlifting. Paulie Steinman, the head referee there, is our newly minted president of the federation.
That just lets you know you really earned that lift if the president of the organization is giving you a white light. And for the third time around, this time we have upgraded to a world record attempt for Mr. David Steen. 198 kilos loaded on the bar now. Start off with 2 American records on the opener and second. World record attempt now for David.
David Sneed, 436 pounds, 198 kilo world record attempt.
And for those commenting on the chat,
it's going to be a no lift there for David. What a run there.
And just wanted to highlight a little bit more of the impressiveness of David Steen. So I see the comment here. David Steen is 70 years young, lifting in the Masters 4 division. So that just adds another layer of impressiveness to his feats of strength displayed here at the Arnold Sports Festival. Mr. Roy Johnson, 200 kilos. looking to pick up just 2.5 more from his second attempt.
And after having that little bit of a mishap on the opener and then coming in, hitting that second attempt, exceptional, putting on just a little bit more. And honestly, I think that was the right call to make.
Yeah, anything more wouldn't have had it, but I mean, at least he had a chance, a fighting chance here with 200 kilos.
Dylan Johnson up next. 222 and a half, 490 pounds for a state record attempt.
We're getting real close to our 500-pound barrier, so expect some of these guys to be hitting 500 pounds in the next meet or so.
Yes, and this will be a Massachusetts state record. And is very clean.
Smooth
3 white
attempt,
lights.
Yeah. And again, that might stand true. He might have 500 in the next meet or so. That moved really easy.
His prior last heaviest bench was 485 pounds.
A very good display of very well-mannered sportsmanship there, giving a handshake to the referees who are donating and sacrificing their time refereeing at the Arnold Sports Festival. None of these events would be possible without our referees, staff, and all the people, the manpower going into running an event of this caliber.
There's Derek Gagnon.
D-Gags in the chat.
496 pounds. D-Gags in the chat. Can we get a D-Gags in the chat? What a press. Can he find his way? Yes, he does.
And
that bar didn't dip.
Derek.
Give it to him, chat.
2 to 1.
That's a good lift. And you can't talk about a more storybook grind for that. What a run. Derek Gagnon, 496 pounds. Phenomenal attempt. Not to be outdone, Raymond Willis trying to get on the board here. Going to retake 225 kilos. £496. And now Raymond, he did time out. He missed his opening attempt, timed out his second attempt. I imagine that we're going to time out this attempt as well. The clock is running, but we don't see any Raymond Willis. So we hope that there's no major injury that happened on that opening attempt that forced him to back out for the remainder of his attempts. What happens here more often than not is that lifter will still put an attempt in, or they'll still put something in so that there is still the full minute allotment for that lifter. That way the rest of the folks in the flight can have that equal amount of rest. So that can be, that's a very common courtesy that a lot of lifters have rather than simply scratching their attempts. It does let them, it does give the rest of the lifters in the flight that extra break. We've only got 4 more lifters left in this flight and in this bench session before we wrap things up. Coming up first, Jonathan Myshak looking to retake 235 kilos, and it looks like the bar could be a little bit uneven. Yeah, it looks like the bar is uneven there by a notch higher on the left side than the right. Doesn't look like Jonathan's going to notice. Can he find his way to lockout? Oh, my goodness. And that's going to be a no lift there, unfortunately.
Lifter safety number 1, and again, didn't walk away with that third attempt bench press, but Jonathan is safe. Walks away with 220 kilos.
Bars loaded here for Aaron Latinsky. Now, Aaron, having made short work at 240 pounds, goes all the way up to 556 pounds. This is going to be massive. Here he is, Aaron Latinsky. Looks like he's being handled in the back by Jeremy Hartman of Hartman Performance Training.
A lot of top-tier coaches present here at the Arnold Sports Festival. So not only are our athletes some of the elite level lifters, but coached by some of the best in the game.
Strong walkout here. Lift off, excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Are we sure that's a third attempt?
Are we sure we're not just watching AI? Was that real?
Let us know. Daryl Funk now. World record attempt, 255 kilos. One of the lifters, the only lifter in this flight who has double dipped in the Open and Masters division. Looking to claim medals on both ends of the spectrum. 255 kilos.
556 pounds. You can't get any stronger than this, folks. Daryl Funk taking his time to get set up under that bar. When you've got 500 plus pounds in your hands, you got to be real careful.
Yep. You don't get there by accident. Let's see it, Daryl.
Big press off the chest. Oh, got some real big up and downward motion. And a lot of times when you see that up and downward motion, you see people that are able to press out of that. I think he just got a little bit too far down, not able to overcome that. Regardless, what a run for bench press for Daryl Funk, finishing out at 551 pounds.
So a bold move here by Alvin Roswell, sitting outside of the top 5 in 6th place. If successful with this attempt of going up 7.5 kilos to 265 kilos, 584 pounds, he will be moving into 1st place. So this is an all or nothing lift. Walk away with your opener or walk away with a gold medal. Alvin Roswell, bar is loaded.
Here's Alvin Roswell, our last bench presser of the day. This is going to wrap things up for the USA Powerlifting Open and Masters Bench Bash. Alvin Roswell, 265 kilos, 584 big ones, folks.
Insane.
Here we go, Alvin Roswell. It's going to be a no-go, unfortunately.
But a valiant effort, and I respect the effort, the grind, just everything that goes into an attempt like that.
That's a gamer move.
Right, yeah.
That is a gamer move, to put it all on the line.
For.
Put it all on the line to go fight your way back into first. That's what it's all about here, folks. So let's take a look at our winners for the day, our top 5. So on the women's equipped master side, we've got Joy Black rounding out that top spot. Lee Haynes in 2nd place. Susan Paxton, Tish Holm, and Stacy Metcalf rounding out our 5th place spot.
Moving over to our women's equipped open now, we have Natalie Richardson, Rachel Hannon, and Allison Shupp rounding out that 3rd place, followed by Elizabeth Richardson, right? We got a family duo there in the top 5. And then also our winner for the Masters here in 5th place for the Open Division, Joy Black.
That's right. And look, no, we're going to see Natalie, we're going to see the Richardsons and Rachel Hannon come up here in just a second. So let's go over to our Raw side. Over on the Raw Masters side, obviously rounding out at top spot, we've got the Jennifer Thompson, the bench press wizard. Up next, Brianna Boardman in 2nd place, Doreen Munoz in 3rd. Elizabeth Richardson, I told you we'd see your name again. She comes in 4th for the Raw Masters division, followed out by Macy Urrutia in 5th.
And as we move over to the open side for the Raw division, Jennifer Thompson snagging both the gold in the Masters and Open, followed by Marissa Widener, 2nd place. Shelby Morse with a American record attempt on her 3rd attempt. And then we have Natalie Richardson, again, we're seeing repeat names here, 4th place, and Cipriana Castellano rounding out that 5th place position.
Let's go and take a look at over on our men's side. So for the men's equipped masters run, Brian Scott in 3rd place, Jeff Sussman in 2nd, Robert Evans in 1st.
And look no further, our open division, we have Nick Benarakis, big benches in first place, Derek Gottschalk in second, Tate Hernandez third place, and Jeff Sussman in fourth.
All right, moving on to the Raw. Men's Raw Masters in fifth place, Mr. Charlie Page. Fourth, Kevin Almaris. Third, Howard Aaron. Second, David Sneen with 2 world records. And Daryl Funk rounding out that first place spot with a huge 540-pound bench.
And for the final division, lifting this morning at the Arnold Sports Festival, fifth place, Andrew Ernst, followed by Jalen Manning, fourth place, Derek D-Gags, right? We had a lot of love for him in the chat. Third place, Daryl Funk in second, and Aaron Latinsky in first place.
And that is going to be the end of our action here for the Open and Masters Raw Bench Bash here at the Arnold Sports Festival here in Columbus, Ohio. My name is Nick Stevens.
I'm Kevin Serrano, and we were your commentators for this session. It was lots of fun commentating for you.
I love just commentating Mitch. It makes it easy.
Yeah.
But we will see you guys here shortly. 1 o'clock, we are going to have our Masters Raw Challenge, so stay tuned. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.